Space Time Badass here. Today I'm going to be talking about mugwort, which is an herb that is commonly used to benefit lucid dreaming. So as you've probably already gathered, I am drinking some mugwort tea. Now this is not my first time trying mugwort tea as with some of my other videos, but I will just kind of take you through the smells and tastes associated here so that you can know kind of what to expect if you were to try this herb. I hope you'll excuse the location. This is actually my spare room in the house and my girlfriend's makeup room primarily, so this is all this girly stuff. I do my makeup too, so don't worry. So I have here just a plain mugwort tea, and I've added in a dollop of honey for sweetness. Now the thing about this tea is that it was gifted to me by a friend, Dylan. He is also the person who made the music and allowed me to use it on my channel, so if you like the music that you hear here, go ahead and check him out. There's a link in the description for his SoundCloud and his Twitter, so you can tell him how much you love his music and you can follow him over there for future releases. That aside, let's go ahead and get into the experience of mugwort tea. Now, I actually think it's really interesting. If you guys remember when I tried my Kalia's Catachicchi tea, which was a terrible, horrifying experience, the funny thing is I mentioned that it kind of smells a little bit like gravy. That is a very bitter gravy. It's just weird gravy-ish smell. The funny thing is I noticed about mugwort tea is that it actually has the exact same smell, to me at least. It smells like a weird kind of gravy. Some would say this is earthy. This is an earthy bouquet. But I just say that is not natural. That is the smell of gravy. Now don't let the smell fool you because the taste is actually kind of pleasant. It's not akin to really any other teas that I've ever had or anything like that. But it could even be drank without a sweetener, but I just like to put honey in all of my teas. But it's not a bad taste at all, and it doesn't really taste much like it smells, in my opinion. For a reference point on taste, I will say that similar to its smell, its taste is similar to that of Kalia's Catachicchi if Kalia's Catachicchi just somehow had all of the bitterness extracted from it. There's really no other comparisons to be made. It smells like Kalia's Catachicchi. It tastes similarly, only not bitter at all, but otherwise there's really nothing to compare it to taste-wise as far as I'm aware. So I will likely be here for the next few nights having my tea before bed, and right now I'm really interested in seeing how the experience is between having it just one night and then having it consecutive nights, because I've already had it before, as I previously mentioned, just 1 or 2 nights kind of spread out, but with some herbs such as African dreamroot, it's actually cumulative, so you would need to ingest it several days before it starts having a stronger effect. So I'm really interested to see if mugwort has anything like that. But regardless, I already know that it does have some good properties, which we'll get into a little bit later. Alright, we are here for night 2 of our mugwort tea trial. A little bit about last night. I did not get to sleep very well last night, and I attribute that to probably staying up a little bit longer than I should have after ingesting the tea. So I'm going to try to do better tonight, and in fact I had been so tired today that I had gone to bed incredibly early and I'd forgotten to drink the tea, but I'd woken up naturally and thought, perfect opportunity for Wake Back to Bed and to try the tea for Wake Back to Bed as well, to see if it's any better or worse that way. And so I'm settling in with a little light lucid dreaming reading to set the tone, and so here we are, day 2. Let us enjoy our tea and see how everything goes. Alright, we are on our 3rd night of the Mugwort Tea. I only have one more Mugwort Tea left, so that will make 4 nights of the official kind of testing, but I've tried it probably double that amount of times, so we'll kind of round it up to 8. I think I've got everything that I need as far as knowing the effects of it so far, but in the heart of science, we'll keep this up until we run out of tea. Alright guys, so I've done all of the testing that I feel necessary to feel confident in what I believe that Mugwort does. As you saw, my trials on this that I got filmed were for 3 days consecutively, but I did do another day on top of that consecutively that I forgot to film. And prior to that, I had used Mugwort Tea kind of offhandedly and sporadically just to kind of get a feel for what the herb was like. So I would say I've probably tried it double the amount of times in my last run, so I should say probably about 8 to 10 times I've tried Mugwort Tea. With this review, as you saw, the only way that I've tried it is through the tea method, and the reason for that is the Mugwort teas that I was actually gifted were already in their tea bags, and I just felt it unnecessary to cut the tea bag open and then just try to roll it and smoke it if I didn't need to. As with my Kalea's Akatachichi review, I did try smoking that as well as the tea, but for that the smoking it was a lot better than the tea. However, for Mugwort, I think that the tea aspect of it was so enjoyable that I don't really need to smoke it. I feel like that would diminish the value of the experience that I would have had. So I simply did not find it necessary for me to smoke Mugwort and try it in that fashion. However, that might be something for you to do, but this video should serve as a pretty good means to see if it's something that you would like to try. The more I try at least the herbs that are involved with lucid dreaming, the more I really see that they are all playing off of one effect, and that effect is dream recall. And for me, Mugwort is really no different than the other herbs that I've mentioned. So I think with all of these, again, with Kalea's Akatachichi, with African Dreamroot, and now with Mugwort, I do feel that they are primarily just for dream recall. Now, when saying that something helps with dream recall, there is a lot of conclusions that people can get from that that aren't actually what is meant by dream recall. For instance, you're not going to necessarily have longer dreams because of this, or more vivid dreams necessarily because of this, but what I've noticed is just that I can recall longer spans of time that were occurring in the dream that I would have otherwise not remembered all of. So it is simply down to you remember your dreams more fully rather than the idea that you're expanding your dreams or that the dreams are more vivid, because I just didn't experience any of that. So I think it could be useful in a lucid dreaming practice if you're just starting out, or if you're in a dry spell where you're just not remembering any dreams. You could use it then to kind of jumpstart yourself, get excited about it again, and hopefully progress further from there. So really it just depends on what you want. If you want something that you think is going to make it a lot more easy for you to lucid dream, then I would say go with a supplement, but always do your research and be careful there. But if you just want something that's a little more natural to try to give you a little bit of a push in the right direction, then I'd say the herbs are for you. Now, when deciding on herbs, I really do feel that Mugwort is probably the most viable option. And the reason for that is that I notice no difference in the amount of dream recall you get between Mugwort and the other just herbs that I have tried, and really it's what's the most palpable to you, and what do I think is going to be the easiest to get down. No matter which way you do it, it's probably going to be Mugwort easily. Other things that I've learned, I did hear that Mugwort's supposed to relax you in some way, but I never got any relaxation effects from that at all, but that could just be me personally. I do drink a lot of caffeine throughout the day as well. I have trouble sleeping even when I don't. So that could be just me. It might be relaxing for someone else. I can't say necessarily, but for me I got no relaxation effects, and in fact kind of the opposite, because I noticed if in the times that I was taking it sporadically, if I just had a cup of tea and then waited maybe 30 minutes to an hour, I would have more difficulty going to sleep, so I felt a little more alert actually. But if I were to drink it and then go directly to bed, which is what I recommend that anyone who tries it do, that I got the most effects from it then. So I do feel mugwort specifically would be a really good ally for a lucid dreamer occasionally, but I wouldn't say that there's any benefit when doing it back to back as opposed to doing it kind of sporadically. And in fact, I think I got better effects from it when I wasn't doing it every night, so it's not really compounded like African Dream Root is in its effects. But overall, I say mugwort tea, definitely try it above all of the other herbs that I have reviewed, again setting supplements aside into their own category. But it is an herb that I would recommend. It was a very enjoyable experience, and as far as drinking it and actually taking it in, and it never hurts to have a little more dream recall here and there. Everybody needs a push at some point because the cycles of life and lucid dreaming being no different, there are going to be times when you're remembering more dreams, times when you're remembering less. So in the times when you're kind of lacking in that aspect of your lucid dreaming life, why not take something that can that is natural, first of all, and that can perhaps give you a little bit more of a push into remembering more dreams and making sure you don't fall off the kind of lucid dreaming bandwagon so that you can continue lucid dreaming into the long term in the future. But I think I have talked on enough about mugwort and the various herbs and how it compares to those. So hopefully, at the very least, I have entertained or helped you figure out whether or not you should try this herb or if you should not try other herbs when you have this option. So all that aside, definitely subscribe if you haven't already to check out my review on the Lucid Catcher that will be coming up in the semi-near future. Don't forget that you can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at SpacetimeBadass. Pretty much everywhere I am, I'm there as SpacetimeBadass as well. You can support the channel on Patreon. But as always, that is just appreciated and never required. I appreciate that you guys watch and come here for your lucid dreaming information. Thanks so much, and until next time, take it easy.